Thank you, Ashley, and welcome everyone to today's presentation of Inventor 2020. We're going to highlight some of the new features and updates and enhancements throughout the software. So as Ashley mentioned, we have Kevin Bosch on the line with us today answering questions. And any questions you guys have throughout the presentation, you can type those into the chat area there in the GoToWebinar window. Kevin will address those now, or we can address those at the end of the presentation if we need further discussion. So as we get started, I have this little cheat sheet here showing the Inventor 2020 highlights on the far right-hand side, and then the 3 most previous releases. So depending on the release you're coming from, there may be some intermediate updates that you may have missed. So if you're back on 2017, we had some nice updates there as far as the 3D sketch environment goes. 3D PDFs were added to the software. 4K monitor support was included with Inventor 2017. They also started the mid-year release updates around the 2016 timeframe, and they carried those forward to 2017 with the R2s, R3s, and R4s. 2018 release came out. We had some syncing and unfolding rules around the sheet metal environments with multi-body sheet metal support for multi-thicknesses in those bodies. Model-based definition updates, exporting to 3D PDF updates, carrying 3DA annotations if we put those on. 2019, we had some frame generator updates as far as background performance issues. The whole dialog box was replaced with a UI panel. In the 2019 release was probably the biggest interface change that we noticed. And then 2020 comes out, and I've broken this out into 2 areas, productivity and performance enhancements, as well as the Inventor Ideas enhancements that have been added to the software. So from the sheet metal side, part modeling, a new unwrap command inside the software where you can unwrap any surface, not just unflattening a sheet metal file, but unwrapping any part file and seeing the flat area of that. Some frame generator updates we're going to take a look at. There were some AnyCAD updates as far as translators go. The Inventor ReadOnly option that I've got highlighted right here in the center at the bottom, that is a nice new feature. That's a standalone install there that comes along with Inventor. We'll talk about that. And then we'll also look at more of the Inventor Ideas updates that have been added around some of the modeling commands, the tube and pipe route edits, migrating custom settings, and we've got a lot to look forward to. So how do we access it? Well, the Inventor 2020 can be found in a number of ways. The 2 ways we'll take a look at here is 1 through the Autodesk desktop app. If you have the desktop app running, as Inventor 2020 is assigned to your Autodesk account by your account manager, it will appear there in the desktop app. You can select the checkbox to agree to the terms and conditions, select install, it will install in the background. Or you can go out to the manage.autodesk.com website, log into your account, select the software, AutoCAD, Inventor, whichever one you're installing, then select the release, in this case 2020, hit the install now button. It does the install now option from the web installer, or you can use the Autodesk download manager or the browser download and install it at your own leisure. So jumping into the 2020 enhancements. So first thing you may notice when you open the software is this new light theme that is throughout the 2020 release. And that is the white area, the light gray area in the environment, whether it's the modeling, whether it's the home screen, whether it's the assembly environment. It is this new light theme throughout the software. In previous releases, 2019 and older, we've had a light theme and a dark theme, and the dark theme was the default. You could enable the light theme. The dark theme is no longer available. The light theme is now what they are pursuing. That's what we're going with. That's what we have now. The icons have been refreshed to reflect the light theme, but for shop floors, for low lit areas, for presentations, the light theme just seems to pop off the screen, and this is the Inventor 2020 light theme interface. So we have some of the additions into the new interface as far as graphic presets. These have been here in the past in the application options on the hardware tab. They're just now on the view tab in the modeling environment. So we have the high quality, the balanced, and the performance. So the high quality in the upper right here, the balanced in the lower left, and then the performance side in the lower right. These have been available in the application options, but it persisted throughout Inventor. Well, now you can change this on a per file basis. So if you've got a file up and you're wanting to look at it in a high quality, you need a screenshot for a website or send to a customer for approval, you can just change the one file without changing the entire interface and slowing down everything else. Do it on a per file basis, make the change and keep rolling. So it's nice that they've added that ability to do it now without having to work on all the drawings and work on all the assemblies that are open. We can just do it on a per file basis. Along with the UI enhancement, that light theme being the visual refresh, we have two new lighting styles, one called Light Theme that has the blue background going in the interface and the light theme across the top, and then we have the Light Theme IBL, the lighting environment that is added as well. Puts the lights in the right area shining down on the model, making the ambient shadows and the ground shadows pop a little more. The icon refresh across the ribbon in the browser. Icons have been updated. The updated colors on the feature manipulators, better fidelity on threaded textures. The ground plane has been updated to be compatible with that new color scheme as well, and there's an option that dynamically reduces the grid line count when zooming out. It refreshes as you zoom back in, but it just adjusts based off the zoom ratio and the resolution of your monitor and your Windows theme and everything else there taken into effect. So the whole command was replaced with a whole UI or user interface in the 2019 release. Well, now with 2020, the Extrude command, the Revolve command, the Sweep command, and the Thread command have all been updated with these new UIs as well. So these are dockable. You can attach them to the model browser. You can dock them on another side of the screen, and they snap right to the edge. You can put them side by side where they're tabbed together. As you close the command, it goes away. As you open the command again, it comes right back. But the nice thing about these new UIs that they've added are what we call breadcrumbs. And that is the ability to go back and forth between the sketching environment and the feature environment. So without having to exit or edit or cancel the extrude command and then go back to edit the sketch, we can just toggle between the two there in the top of that little UI, just clicking on the sketch, clicking on the extrusion. You can even rename those from right there, and it updates in the interface. So you've got the extrude box up, you need to make a change on the sketch, you just select the sketch, it throws you into the sketch environment, make the changes, add dimensions, update whatever you need to, click back on the extrusion heading there in the UI, and it takes you right back to the edit feature mode. So those little breadcrumbs that they've added are nice little ways to speed you up and keep you going without having to exit the command and come back into a different command, exit that command and come back into the edit command, just making it easier to toggle between the two. So on the application options, on the color tab, the new in-canvas color scheme called Light Theme has been added. There's a background image, a reflection environment, section capping, plain textures. The legacy styles are unchanged. So the deep blue, the forest, the high contrast, the winter day, the winter night, the winterland, those are all still there. And you can make those active. You can adjust those. We've still got the customized schemes that was added in 2019 that we can update our own colors if we don't like what's out there as far as unconstrained sketch lines, over-constrained sketch lines, constrained sketch lines, construction lines, and things like that. You still got options there, but the one thing you will notice here on the color tab is there's no option to go back to the dark theme. They have removed that completely, and the light theme is what we are going with 2020. Now there is a amber option there in the lower right in the UI theme area, and that will display the old legacy icons that are prior to 2020. So the 2019 and older icons, you can turn that on. Just selecting this and hitting OK doesn't do it. You do have to restart Inventor to see the icons refreshed there. So the Inventor read-only, and this is big for some users because it doesn't require a license to view the model. And so this installs directly with Inventor 2020. Once you activate Inventor 2020, you have the Inventor read-only option available in the Start menu, All Programs, Autodesk, Inventor 2020, and it'll say Inventor read-only. You can put a shortcut on the desktop and launch it. It doesn't consume a license. You can open any presentation file, drawing file, assembly file, or model file. So we can do that with Inventor View now, but we can't measure with Inventor View. Well, with Inventor read-only, we can measure. So we've got some nice commands there that we can measure. Again, it doesn't consume a license. This can be installed or be opened without consuming that license on any machine in the on the plant, shop floor, engineering, manager's office, wherever it needs to be. If you install the Inventor trial for Inventor 2020, once the trial run ends, once those 30 days are up, it just automatically switches over to the Inventor read-only mode. So there's not a direct download for Inventor read-only. It's either installed with the Inventor 2020 software once it's activated, or once the trial runs out, it just automatically switches over, and then you've got the read-only option. Now, Inventor View is still available. It's still a separate download. It does not install with Inventor 2020. You can still download it from the autodesk.com/viewers website. So if you're still working with Vault, it's still installed on the Vault installs, so it's still there for the right-click view and window options. But the read-only mode is great because now we can measure. We're not consuming a license. We're not editing anything. We can look at all of our different part files and model files, drawings, presentations. So some overall UI enhancements. We'll look at the assembly side first here. Does not include Inventor LT for assemblies, but entering the in-place editing environment, just double-clicking on a file to edit a sub-assembly inside of an assembly, 4, 5, 6 times faster, depending on the size of the assembly. Window selections, when using the body selection filters for components, parts, that is significantly improved. Pan, zoom, rotate, zooming in, zooming out with selection sets. You've got multiple files selected. If you're using 3D mouse, it's just getting so much faster. The component patterns, whether it's circular patterns, rectangular patterns, mirroring, that is getting faster. The preview is updating faster, giving you greater access there. Yes, this is what I want. This is not what I want. The express mode got some options for 3D sectioning. Responding so much faster now. So if you are working with large assemblies in the express mode, you're going to see some significant improvements there. Now, the tube and pipe environment has not been overhauled, but the performance side has. Editing routes, legacy files, if you're opening existing files that have routes in there and getting right into those, so much faster working with those, adding separate nodes and rerouting components is just so much faster than it has been in older releases. From the part side, feature pattern, it was added with the assemblies. It's also added with the part side. So if you're creating a large number of occurrences, you're still going to get the dialog box that says, hey, this will result in a large number of occurrences, or sure you want to continue, but the preview is so much faster. The execution, once you say yes or okay, is so much faster. If you're working with the Inventor nested utility, the nested feature environment, so much faster working with those. Part files, if you've got DWG overlays or importing DXF and DWG files, so much faster if you're using the import 3D solid command, bringing in the old mechanical 3D files, so much faster bringing those in with Inventor 2020 as well. On the drawing side, we've got some updates. Hidden lines on large assemblies, hidden lines on small assemblies, auxiliary views, especially if you're working with large assemblies, 5,000 plus components. The auxiliary views used to slow down, you get the not responding, not anymore. So much faster here with 2020. The drawing section view, whether you're editing the section line or just adding the section view or editing the section view to show hidden lines, show shaded views, so much faster. The AnyCAD side, if you're bringing in Fusion data or CATIA data, SolidWorks data, so much faster on the import, the refresh showing you what it's going to look like before you say okay, so you get to see the preview there on screen. The dialog box just displays faster, the results display faster, just speeding the software up. We've got some multi-monitor enhancements for Inventor 2020. Now, Autodesk has been supporting multiple monitors for a number of years with the software, but where we're talking today with 2020 and the multi-monitor enhancements is the fact that you can now dock the files on a different monitor. So you can take the model tabs where they're listed down there in the lower right on the status bar area. You can just drag those to another monitor, resize it. It remembers where it was. You close that file, you open that file, it goes back to that last place that you had it saved on that other monitor. You can dock the model browsers to additional monitors. They remember where they were at. You cannot move the ribbon menu to another monitor. It will not dock and remember that location. But the model browsers, the panel UIs, the open files, you can drag those over to another monitor, leave those there, close Inventor, they come right back up to that same location. You also still have the clean screen option if you're worried about graphical real estate and you want to have a white clean screen. You still got that option on the View tab there as well. Still, it remembers where everything was if you close those files and open them back up. So another Inventor Ideas option that was added or enhancement was along the migration area. And that is when we are importing from the most previous release, so for 2020 it would be 2019, and that is the ability to bring in those custom settings from Inventor 2019. And so there's two new groups of command settings here. The command settings on the right hand side of the box here, this brings in the advanced settings options in the whole panel UI. And that is if you'd saved any your last used holes, those settings were being brought over. So when we get to future releases for the extrude command, the revolve, the shell command, the thread command, those last use options, those will automatically be remembered and brought forward to the future releases as well. And now with presets here in the lower left of this migrate customs options, that's going to bring any presets that you had saved with your Inventor 2019 whole command or whole UI, those are going to be brought forward into Inventor 2020 as well. So you've saved some presets or your favorites in the whole UI, those will automatically be brought in as long as you select that. Now, when you first launch Inventor, you're going to be prompted to do this once. If it recognizes an older release of the software was installed, hey, do you want to bring these forward? Yes, you can say yes now or no later. You can also do this at any time on the ribbon menu, on the Tools tab, and the Migrate Settings button brings you back to this dialog box as well. So some translator enhancements. So we're looking at the CATIA translator was updated for import and export up to release 2018. The Rhino version 6 on import and export, Parasolid version 31 import and export. SolidWorks importer has been updated to support SolidWorks 2019. And so we've got some nice updates there on the import and the export side inside of Inventor 2020. So some of the assembly enhancements we're going to take a look at today are along the frame generator area. And if you install the custom content library when you're installing the software, you're going to have access to this insert end cap command inside the design environment inside of assemblies. And that allows you to insert an end cap, attach it with an offset on the outside of the face, or insert it inside the member that you're putting the end cap on. We've also got some in-canvas orientation updates as far as orienting the members when we're placing frame generator members. The notch command, the trim, extend to face, the miter command, the remove in treatments, and the lengthen, shorten options have been replaced. The dialog boxes have been replaced with the new UIs. So those are becoming more common across the software as we go. We had those in the modeling environment with the extrude, the revolve, and the sweep command, and now we've got some of these added into the frame generator environment as well. So some additional assembly enhancements around the assembly constraints. When placing a make constraint between the two axes, Inventor now predicts the best match based off the selection with absolute minimal rotation. And that is also based off of where on the edge you selected. If you selected the axis on the rightmost side or an edge of geometry on the rightmost side, it's going to use that when it's trying to translate how the mating option goes between those two axes. The express mode options for opening, for editing, for 3D sectioning has just been extremely revamped and updated for performance areas. Inside the sketching environment, when you're in an assembly, the ellipse, center point, circle, and tangent circle are all added together now to make it more common as they are in the 2D sketching environment. We've got threads that we can add at the assembly level now. So along with extrusions and revolves and lofts, we've got some commands now that we can add to the assembly environment regarding threads. So there is a joint creation enhancement regarding the fact that we can now select a center point of a slot when we're applying joints, so that it is recognized not just the edges, the tangent edges, but we now have the center point option when placing a joint constraint. The tube and pipe naming defaults have been added to the application options. So on the file naming tab in the lower left, we've got our file naming defaults option, and inside that we have the frame generator command as well as the tube and pipe command, where we have access to how runs are saved, how locations are saved, and how the run assemblies are saved. And so we can update those to show the assembly name, a unique number, an index number, or reset it back to the default out of the box options without having to reset Inventor to wipe those settings out. So some of the part enhancements I mentioned earlier, the extrude, revolve, sweep, and the thread command are no longer dialog boxes. They're now the panel UIs, and so those have been updated. All of the commands are still available. They're just in a different location now. So it's going to take a little getting used to, but all the commands are there. We don't have the More tab anymore to show the taper or not. It's just now called Advanced Properties at the bottom of the dialog box or the UI. The sweep command now supports solid sweeping of solid bodies. So in this screenshot here, I've got on the lower right, I've got this shape, bent piece of metal here, or aluminum, depending on the material we're using, and I've got this solid body, and we're just going to sweep it across this. And so it uses that guided surface of that sketch line, sweeping that solid right across another solid, a nice welcome enhancement to Inventor 2020. So loop and region detections have been updated or enhanced as you hover over a loop or a region. It just very quickly refreshes and highlights there on screen for you, showing you what you're about to select. It's almost like anticipating you hovering over this edge and knowing, all right, I'm going to grab all of these tangent edges for you, giving you that closed loop option there to select it without having to wait for the select other dialog box and scroll through the 18 edges. It's just going to jump that selecting loop right to the top of the list. This also applies to sketch blocks as we're creating those. In the past, we could use that control and click, click, click to add those as a selection set. Now it's just helping us add that loop as a selection set on its own. So some Inventor Ideas Station updates, if you want to be involved in that. On the Collaborate tab, there's a web panel and an Inventor Ideas option. And this is where Click on that button, it takes you out to the Inventor Ideas site. You can submit your own ideas. You can look at what other users are requesting as far as new features or feature updates or enhancements, or I wish this feature also did this instead of me having to do these two separate operations. This is just where you can interact directly with the Autodesk developers. They have people that constantly monitor the site and are interacting with feedback to the ideas. You can like any other ideas that you see on there. You can have a conversation about them. You don't think it should do that because of this, or it would interrupt your workflow. It's a great way to communicate with the developers about what you would like to see the future of Inventor look like. All right, so now we'll jump over here to the software, and this is our new light theme. This is how it looks when you first launch the software. I've got this nice assembly opened up here. 269 unique parts, 875 total occurrences here. Got a couple other files open in the background that we're going to roll back and forth with and kind of look at. But as we come in, this is the new light theme interface. Everything's kind of grayed out, whited out in the background. If we go over to the View tab, these are our new location to access. Are we going to look at high quality, balanced, or performance as far as our model goes? So I can change it for this specific model here. I can update it here, and we get the quick replay there, getting more models, ground shadows here, more ambient shadows. Turn those on, turn those off, turn the reflections on or off real quick. Getting to see it here inside the environment. You can still change this to anything you want. This is just how it looks out of the box using the light theme IBL or the light theme itself. If you don't want to use the IBL environment, just want to use the light theme for the lights that are selected, you've got that option. But quickly, you can go between the balance, performance, and high quality on a per file basis without having to go back to the application options and change it for everything. So if you wanted to create a screenshot, whatever it is for approval, send it out, show it to a coworker, just making it easier to see the model, making it pop off the screen a little bit more. So this works well, just depending. I've got a larger structure here, so I've got my shadows turned on here, and so I can change this one back to balanced, where I want it to work a little bit faster, go to the performance side. So it's just giving me a different look here as I'm working with the different softwares. So let's start a new part file. And so we'll come over here, and I'm going to use the primitive here and start a box. And we'll just grab the extrude command. So now Kevin says, hey, you forgot to dimension that. All right, so I can just click on the sketch right here. It throws me right back in the sketch environment. So I have all of my sketching options here. So I can say, okay, well, now I want to dimension this. We'll make this one 2, and we'll zoom out a little bit, and we'll make this one 4. And we want to go back to our extrusion. We just click on extrude. Takes us right back over here. Didn't have to exit any command. Didn't have to stop and go back over. New extrusion, and as I'm changing it here, it's automatically updating right here in the model browser. Everything is updated, and so I've still got my glyphs here. I can drag this out. I can enter everything here in the UI. I can dock this. So if I want to drag this over here and put it right in the side, so I've got more graphical real estate, I've got that option. And so direction 1, flip to direction 2, symmetrical, asymmetrical, all the options are still here. So you've got the little 3 bars here for the advanced settings menu, and so you can keep the sketch visibility on. You can hide your presets, so that's default. You can uncheck that. Now you can create presets. So if you, a lot of the times when you're designing and you make extrusions that are 2.125 deep or 3 inches deep, you can add a preset here. Now in this case, this one is 2.125. It's symmetrical. I want to give it a preset. I can give it a specific name. It takes the default 2.125, 0 degree on the taper. I can accept that. I'm going to say OK. there is my extrude that has been added. The extrude UI goes away. If I start the extrude command again and say I want to put a sketch on this face here, what am I working with? So we'll just grab a rectangle and put it on this one and finish sketch, and it takes right over into the extrude area, and it goes right back to where I docked it the last time. If I put it on the right hand side of the screen, it's going to remember where that was coming from there as well. Same thing with the revolve command. It's now with the panel UI, so it remembers that I used it over here last time and I docked it. So I can come into this side and say, all right, so there's my profile. Here's my axis that I'm going to revolve this about. Is there a specific angle that I want to use? As I'm going there, am I cutting? Am I joining? So all the options are still there. Direction 1, direction 2, symmetrical, asymmetrical. So all the options are still here. I can do the same thing. I can come over to this one and say, show me the presets, so I can save my presets so I can come back and use those at a later time if I'd like. So if you haven't used 2019, the whole command was the same way. This UI panel was added. It's still there in 2020, but the sweep command, the extrude command, the revolve command, and the threaded feature command, they're all been replaced with the UIs instead of the old traditional dialog boxes. So we can close those, bring them right back up. They remember right where they were last, so it comes right back to this spot. I start the extrude command, it remembers right where that panel was last, the properties panel there. So close it there. You can still add your traditional browsers here. If you close the model browser, which we've done in the past by accident, we would, in the previous releases, go over to the view and go to user interface and find it and turn it back on. Well, there's a little plus sign that's always here now called show tabs. And we can show this right here and so bring the model browser back. So not all of the options are there. So if you want to see your mini toolbars, they're off by default. You have to turn those on. But if you do hide your model browser by accident, you can bring it right back, just hitting a little plus sign right there, and it comes right back to where it was the last time you had it active. So I'm going to click over to the Get Started tab real quick, and there's this new option in here called Highlight New. And you can turn this on, you can turn this off, and you can tell it which release all the way back to 2017 you want to see new features for. So if you go back to 2017, you're going to see a lot of little orange dots here on the screen showing you this was new, this was new, this was new. You can say, you know what, only show me from 2019.2 on. There's fewer dots, but then you click on the 3D model tab and then the revolve, the extrude, the sweep. So we've got some options here. If there's any hidden, they'll be listed down below. If you go to the view tab, well, here's my ground plane, my orthographic options. So just some different options that have been added to get started, the tutorial gallery. So you can say, all right, so either hide this, highlight this, show me everything from 2019. So even back into the new import CAD files has some updates here. This has been updated. Hover over it, it kind of explains what has updated there. So these are some, what these little orange glyphs are. So if they are on your screen and you're not sure how to get rid of them, that is the Get Started tab. Hit the Highlight New pull down and uncheck the Highlight New, they go away. But at any time you want to bring that back on, you can do that. From the Tools tab, this is where we can go in and say, let's migrate some custom settings. And it says, all right, so you're bringing up from Inventor 2019. These are the options that I can bring forward. Yes, bring those in. No, don't bring those. So you've got the option for no or yes, cancel or okay. But that's where you would get to that if you didn't do it the first time you launched the software. So I'm going to click on this assembly here. It just has a blank part in it. But we're going to take a look at the frame generator updates. So right here I have an insert end cap option. This is only available if you install the custom library when you ran the Inventor installer. So if it's not there, you would need to run that installer again and add that library. But we're going to start with the insert frame here, and we'll go with square tube, and we'll just pick a 4x4. Now I've still got my orientation window here. This dialog box looks the same. Nothing has changed here. But I'm going to pick this edge right here, and it's going to highlight this for me. And then I'm going to get all of these little glyphs right here. So these 9 glyphs that appear here on screen are the same as what's here in the orientation window. So in the older releases, I'd have to pick one of these and hope I got the right one for how it would orient. Well, this has been updated, so now if I pick this upper left corner, it puts the upper left corner along that edge. If I pick the middle, it's going to go to the middle and halfway right there. So if I pick this corner, say I want this one, or I want this one, or I want this one, it's going to toggle that around without having to come to this dialog box and guess and hope I got it right anymore. I can say, all right, well, I'm going to go right there. But then as I pick another member, it's going to go to the other end of that member. And then if I pick this one, it's going to go to this one. Now the beauty about this is now if I change this one, it also changes the others because I haven't hit apply yet. So these are all still using the same orientation. I can say, nope, you know what, use the outside. Or, nope, go ahead and use the inside. And so it puts them right there. Very quickly, I can throw these on. It's showing me these members. Each member I add, the glyphs automatically appear on the end. So we'll just put those right there. And we'll say apply, the default naming. We'll say OK there. And we will close this dialog box out as soon as it comes back. Now I'm going to hide my stock part there that I was using for a base, and we'll take a look at some of the new UIs. So if I go into the MITRE command, dialog box is no longer there. We're now looking at the new UI panel. So I can say, well, I want to MITRE these two pieces. Very quickly, I get my preview right there, showing what that one's going to like. So I can come over here and select these other two corners. Now notice I didn't hit apply. I didn't hit OK. I didn't come back into it. It's letting me apply these to multiple corners at the same time. So it knows, all right, you've selected these two corners, you selected a component that was not selected, and now you select another component that was. So we're going to apply both these miters at the same time. So it goes in and applies those very quickly. There's the miter on this side, and then there's the miter on this side as well. So we've got our trim extend, still has the dialog box here. So we can say, let's go ahead and trim both of these to this inside face. We'll trim both of these to the other side on the inside face here. And we've got the trim to frame that we can use right here with the dialog box if we wanted to. This has been updated to actually shorten the spot, the member that you're selecting without picking the wrong offset. And it's going to do that based off the side that you would select. So we would not trim this and we pick this side, it would automatically trim to this side, where in the past, if we'd have picked over here, it would have trimmed the short side, even though it was outside of the material. So we've got those right there. We can still trim and extend, and let's cut these two down on this side to this underside. And then we will extend these two horizontal members out to the outside edge here so we can put an end cap on them. So we'll go ahead and apply those, put those there. And now because I have installed that custom library, I have the option to insert an end cap. And so this new UI comes up, and I'm just going to zoom in and select this face, and I'll rotate this around so we can see it. So is it going to be an inside or an outside? So internal or outward. And so we've got different options here. Now you can publish your own shape. So this one might not be 100% accurate if I go on the inside where I get an overlap on the corners, but I can control the fillet right here. I can say, well, let's try this with a 0.5. All right, so that's a little bit more. That gives me more room to weld maybe. Or maybe if I want it to be a 0.25, it's going to be a little tighter fit. So I can control that as I'm putting this in here. And then say OK. And we'll put that one right there. It's going to create me a new part file. The default naming scheme right here, it's going to put it in the browser for me. So right there's my filleted corners piece. And we'll come over to this other side, and we'll pick this one, and we'll make it on the outside this time, and we can tell it how thick we want this part. So maybe this one we want it to be a 1/2 inch thick. There's my preview. Select OK and OK, and now I have an end cap placed on this part right here. That is part of my bill of material as well. So some nice new welcome features there of the software. Let's see here, anything else on this side? The lengthen and shorten option now has the UI. So if we wanted to lengthen or shorten this member, we'll say, and it's going to show me the offset here. So I can enter this right here on this side and say, let's shorten this one by 10 inches or lengthen it by 10 inches. do the minus to shorten this one by the 10 inches right there, and then it very quickly gives me that update. So then if I want to put a horizontal member and miter those in, or trim extend, put a end cap on it, I've got that option there. So some nice new welcome additions to the software. It's getting faster. I'll come back over to my assembly here, and we'll go look at a quarter section view, and just very quickly how it updates. Hopefully it's coming across the webinar and updating fairly quickly as it is on my monitor. But we can just go ahead and put the cut sections in there, and so you know what, let's cut it on this side, and we'll cut it. And now we've cut it both directions, so we can kind of look inside this part and see what it looks like. And so we've still got our 875 total occurrences, just very quickly making our cuts right through it. On this one, we can, I've got the full mode going. We can load the Express if we wanted to and do the same thing. I'm just working with it on the full mode now. All right, so once again, where do we access the Inventor 2020? So it can be accessed via the desktop app or the Autodesk website, manage.autodesk.com, where we can go in and download the software, install the software. So the last thing I'll show you, I'm going to close Inventor now, and we'll say don't save the changes here. Go ahead and close it out completely. And once it closes, we will launch the Inventor ReadOnly. Inventor ReadOnly mode. So it comes right up. It tells me right at the bottom what it is. Right at the top, Inventor ReadOnly. So I can go open. I can load a project file so that I'm getting all of the components I need from an assembly. So if I want to open my crusher attachment, I can just open this guy. It'll go through. It's going to load the feature catalog in the background to make sure it's pulling any library parts that need to be there. And then very quickly, it opens the file. I can rotate it around. I can select components, right-click, turn off visibility, just like in Inventor View. We can hide some things, but the big thing here is on the Inspect tab, I can analyze interferences. I can measure. And so I said, well, what is it from, you know, this face up to this edge right here? And things I can't do with Inventor View, I can now do with Inventor ReadOnly. So I get the measure panel the same as I would have inside of Inventor. It's just Inventor ReadOnly. It's not consuming a license. I don't have to worry about checking out a license or not having one available on the network server. It's just Inventor ReadOnly. Allows me to open my assemblies, open my part files, and take a look directly at the model, measure them, rotate them around, screenshots, print, whatever I need to do. All right, so we will turn it over to questions now. If we've got any coming in that Kevin has not been able to answer for us.
Yes, Mark. Alvaro has just asked if he's able to run the section view while in the cable and harness environment. Now, I know that was a little struggle in previous releases. Do you have any cable and harness that you can quickly get to see if we can do that?
I will see if I've got one I can pull up.
And while you're looking for that, I did a little test. Jason had asked if when doing a solid that is made of something like the expanded metal material, if a cut will now recognize that material thickness. And I did a little test on my end. Doesn't appear to, but I know we can add in a shell of that material thickness, and obviously that would provide, I think, what Jason's looking for. And Jason, if I'm not speaking right, please let us know.
Yeah, I have not seen anything related to expanded metal in that scenario.
Yeah, it's just, and I know when you add it, yeah, it looks nice. You can see through the part, but it's still a solid all the way through. So I think I've got a pretty good idea of what Jason's asking here. And my fix was always add a shell in that's the same thickness as the material.
I I don't know if I have any tube and pipe on here, but I will take a look and see what I can
tube and
find.
pipe, cable and harness. I don't know that I've got any that I can get to quickly. Let's see here.
I will take a look and see, though. I might have something. I'm not positive, but I will see what I can pull up.
Program files.
So Robert has asked, are there any updates in the drawing format, i.e. tables? Depends on what you're looking for. We can split tables. We can move them to different drawings. We can bring them back to the same drawing. But as far as formatting goes, there's not really any change there from that aspect. So here's a question from Mitch. Can we go over the best way to get Inventor read-only on a computer with no current licenses? The best way is to download the Inventor 2020 trial. It'll run as Inventor for 30 days. Once those 30 days are up, it just automatically switches over to the Inventor read-only mode. Either that or you could install Inventor, activate it, and then use the uninstall tool to remove Inventor, but leave read-only on there, or delete the shortcut to Inventor and just have them use the Inventor read-only. You could even right-click on the files and through file associativity, use the open with and have Inventor read-only as the option to open those files. All right, I am looking, and I unfortunately do not have any tube and pipe models loaded on this laptop. I apologize for that.
Yeah, I'm not seeing. I had just cleaned my laptop off with a new change, so I've pulled all of mine out.
So Robert says, any questions in the weld generation in an assembly mode? The only change that was made to the weld environment for this release was the ability to add threaded features as an assembly feature. So nothing on the overhaul side of that one. So if you were having issues with older releases, which I apologize if you have been, nothing has changed there as far as that environment goes. We just now have the ability to add threaded features inside the assembly environments, which includes a welded environment as well.
I'm not seeing any. Yeah, let's see.
So we got some more questions coming in here. So Robert just asked a great question. He's running 2017, has the connection issue from an IPN and a drawing format been fixed. Currently, the drawing doesn't update when the IPN has been changed. So inside the drawing view of that IPN, there's a little checkbox in there for link associativity, and that needs to be checked so that when that IPN file is updated, that drawing view gets updated as well. And that probably wouldn't even matter if the drawing background updates were checked or not. But as long as that file associativity checkbox is checked inside the drawing view environment, it should automatically update based off of the presentation view's current appearance if that's how it is set.
And I had this question as well. In Inventor read-only, is there a Vault browser available when Vault is installed? And I'm wondering, I also wondered, okay, is there a connection between Inventor read-only and Vault Office? Craig Miller asked that question.
There is not a Vault tab, to my knowledge, available. Let's see here. Yep, there's nothing hidden here. So there's no Vault add-in for Inventor read-only. It is only going to look at the local files. If you're using Vault Basic, that's a downside because you don't have access to the Vault. If you had Workgroup or Pro or a third-party product like Hagerman QVP where you could get a copy of the file from the vault, you could then open it with the read-only because it's still non-editing. But yeah, there is no vault add-in inside the Inventor read-only mode for looking at the files. Let me just open a file here just to make sure. Yep, only the model browser is going to show. There's no option to add additional browsers, and I do have Vault on this machine.
Let's see here. I have an old assembly that I'm looking at right now for those the section view in cable and harness. It's in my vault, so I gotta go find it. Let's see.
Thank you for looking that one up.
Essentials. That's electrical. That's not what I want either. There we go.
Rick is asking, if you insert a JPEG, can it be grounded in place? If you are inserting it into a sketch, you can lock the endpoints of the sketch, the constraints. You can constrain it to projected geometry. If you're putting it in as a decal, it should go in based off where you're going to place it, and you can adjust that as well using the endpoints of that image. Should be able to. So Jason has asked, can you open files from the Vault web browser and Inventor read-only? Well, depending on the web browser you're using, if it's Chrome, it's probably going to try to download the file and then open with whatever the default installer is, which in that case should be Inventor read-only. If it's IE, Internet Explorer, or a Firefox, it's going to ask you if you want to open or save as. If you say open and Inventor read-only was the default for those files, it would automatically open with those. If Inventor was the default, then it would try to launch with Inventor. Otherwise, just the right-click open with Inventor read-only would open that.
Let's see. Can you replace model references in IPNs in 2020? That's a good question. I've actually never done that. Did you answer that one already, Mark?
I have not. I was just looking here for an IPN file. Rich, I will follow up with you on that one, because I have not tested that either. I've got your information there from the login, and I will definitely follow up with you on that later today. I will verify that one way or the other and let you know what I come up with.
Let's see here.
Inventor read-only will open any Inventor file, parts, assemblies, IPNs, and drawings. Yes, it will. Good question there, Jason. Thank you, Scott.
Why am I not able? Oh, there it is. They moved the section view on me.
Yes, they did. They did move that.
Let's see. As I get, yeah, I've got some tube and pipe here that and actually, let's see. I need to scroll that just a little bit more. It does seem to be working with tube and pipe. Now I don't know about the cable and harness, but yes, you can. Now, interestingly enough, as soon as my section hits a vertical pipe that I've got in, the pipe disappears. So it's not
Okay.
sectioning the actual pipe
Not
itself.
sectioning the part, it's seeing it as a subcomponent and getting rid of the whole component.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And I would say that cable and harness is going to do the exact same thing. Let me run one more and check some of these. I've got some grease tubing in this one. And I'm going to see if it.
Okay. While Kevin is pulling that up, just to let you guys know, thank you for joining us today. If you are interested in a new user, advanced part or advanced assembly classes, we do have some coming up online and in person in different areas of the country. The What's New classes, those can be requested on our Hagerman.com website, and we schedule those as they are requested, depending on the time zone and where they are. Those are all online. They're half-day classes, usually run about 4 hours, but those can be requested as well.
All right. Let's see. And you're going to reply to Rich.
Yep, I will get back to Rich this afternoon on replacing model references and IPNs.
All right. Yeah, and it looks like Vanessa has asked virtually the same question as Rich. That might be one of those good tooltip things if we can work through that and see if that's an option. Very good. Good questions. And guys, as you know, some of these the material thickness for expanded metal, the sections through tube and pipe or cable and harness, those are all great suggestions, great entries to be added to that Inventor suggestion site.
Inventor Ideas.
Yeah, Inventor Ideas. Thank you. Lost my words there. Those would be because it does, you know, being able to section through those, or just take into account, hey, this is 1/8 inch wire or whatever. That's real important.
So one thing I would show you here, if you are in the Autodesk accounts website, you can filter this out by versions. So without having to look through everything that's there through all the products, you can filter that out by versions, as it's telling me I got to sign in and sign out now. But you can filter that by versions, making it easier to access the current release that you're looking for. So if I go products and services, and then I can filter this out to 2020, and then I only have to choose through a few, pick the one I want, hit my view downloads, and then download now, install now, or model browser download as the option there to get access to the software. If it's not there in 2019, I did not see any new rows added in 2020 as well. All right, so Ashley, I think
Okay, well, thank you. Thank everyone for attending today. This will conclude our broadcast. If you have additional questions, you can simply reply to that confirmation or reminder email you received from GoToWebinar. We can get those to Mark or your sales rep or whoever to get your questions answered. Once again, if you could take a few moments to answer the survey, we would appreciate it. It will just automatically pop up as
I
we
think
close
our
down
questions
today.
have kind of filtered off there.
Mark, can you hear me?
There was a little bit of a delay. I did hear you, Ashley. I think Mark.
Okay, yeah, we're having some sort of glitchy technical issues, it seems, right at the end here. So we'll go ahead and wrap up real quick. But thanks everyone for attending and have a great day.
Thank you much.